What is up, Patreon members? We have another video here for you today. As always, keeping true to what we do here behind the scenes. This is going to be a very casual, very unedited video. So I'm just going to kind of spit off some notes here on my phone and tell you guys how to negotiate 3% commissions. Now, if you're a real estate agent, this is something that is going to be absolutely crucial for you, and it's going to help you make thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars extra in your commissions over the next, over the career of your, over the lifetime of your real estate career. So this is something that I've put a lot of time and practice into, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it's been absolutely instrumental, and it's actually quite a bit easier than you might think. So this here particularly is specific to working with buyers. This is not necessarily when you're negotiating with the seller and trying to negotiate your commission for the listing. This is just negotiating your commission with the listing agent when you're representing the buyer. So let's jump into this here and talk a little bit about this. And kind of show you, I'm going to give you two different scripts or two different ways you can do this. And I've had success with both of them. I would say that probably, probably 80% of the time, I'm able to get this to work, and it's a little bit harder when the market's tough. It's a little bit harder if they've got multiple offers. There's a lot of variables here, but even in situations where they've got multiple offers or, you're offering above the listing price or, a number of different things, this is something that can still work for you. So it's just something you have to be confident in. And that's the absolute number one thing that you have to do. You have to be confident when you go in and ask for this, especially if you're doing it like in person or on the phone. You have to be confident. It's a little bit easier in an email or a text or something. So, but of course it is a little bit more powerful if you're able to deliver it confidently, on the phone, let's say, as you're presenting your offer or whatever. So let's jump in here. So like I said, we've got two different ways to actually do it. So the first one, these are going to be like scripts that you can use. So actually take these word for word, put them in an email, memorize them, do whatever you need to do to be able to use these. So the first one is a little bit of a softer approach. And the thing that you'll realize with both of these is that you're kind of blaming the client. I would say you're blaming the client and saying, hey, this is their decision. This is what they want. This is what they've indicated to me. So you're kind of placing the blame, or, I don't want to say it's a blame because it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're kind of creating that separation, right? That's the best thing about having an agent when you buy or sell real estate, is that you've got a separation between the buyer and the seller. And so you're able to kind of, place the blame or place the responsibility onto somebody else. So enough about that. Let's jump into script number one. So script number one, this is what I put in an email recently. Didn't have any pushback getting it signed. In fact, just about probably about a week ago, I used this and got the full 3% commission. So they were only offering 2.5%. The owner was the agent, and so I was actually dealing with him directly. And here's what I said. In the offer, I was kind of explaining the offer, going through the email, or I was writing this into an email explaining the offer. And here's what I said. Hey, my client's awesome and is the type of client that we as agents want to work with. They really respect our industry and the work that I've put in for them so far. And they want to make sure that the standard 3% commission is paid. So I added that into our offer. Now, that's very simple. It's very just straightforward. It's just saying, hey, look, the buyers want to make sure I get paid the full commission. They really appreciate what we've done. They really appreciate the work that I've put in the industry and stuff. And so they want to make sure that I'm getting paid the full percent that I'm used to getting paid, right? Of course, there's no standard, or there's no base commission or anything like that, but that's why I did put it in quotes. But obviously 3% is kind of the standard for us. So that's quote number one. The second quote is a little bit more aggressive, and it's a little bit harder when the market is hot, but it can work, especially if you are, sometimes it just depends on who you're dealing with, what type of people you're working with, the agent, how responsive they are, their personality, stuff like that. So this is one that, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll kind of preface some details, or not preface, I'll add in some details afterwards as to, to kind of clarify it. So the second one is, hey, we saw you were only offering 2.5% or whatever the percentage is, buyer agent commission on the listing. And I spoke to my clients and I told them that I do charge 3% as a buyer's agent, that they would be responsible for the remaining 0.5%. And they just don't feel comfortable with that. They really want to submit an offer, but we're going to have to ask for a full 3% buyer's agent commission. So this is one of those situations where, yeah, this is a little bit harder of an approach to use, especially if they got multiple offers, because the other agent might just tell you to F off, right? So you have to be a little bit careful with this one. It is a little bit more difficult. But it does kind of place the blame, especially if you're going in on a home that doesn't have offers, but they're offering a reduced commission. This is an absolutely fantastic way to get this negotiated in, because they're going to present the offer. You're going to give them an offer. It might be the only one they have, especially if they've been sitting on the market. This could be a great way to easily negotiate this commission. I've used this one in the past when the market hasn't been so hot, and this exact approach I've probably used, probably 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years, and it's worked. Like I said, probably 80% of the time. So again, whether you actually talk to the clients and say, hey, you're going to pay the other 0.5%. I've only done that in one situation, and it's because I had a client who I'd put so much work into and was such a pain in the butt. This client took up so much of my time, and I thought, honestly, the truth of it was they had the money, they had a significant down payment. They knew that they had put in, that I had put in a lot of work for them, researching properties, doing showings, doing inspections, and then backing out of the house. Just thing after thing after thing. And so this is one time where I did talk to them and said, hey, this is, something you're gonna have to pay. At the end of the day, it never worked out. We never got the house anyway. It didn't, really matter, but it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm not always going to talk to the client, but that is the approach that I'm going to tell the other agent that, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to tell the other agent, hey, I spoke to my client and they just really don't want to pay that other 0.5%. So we need you guys to cover it. Like I said, I've only done that one time where I did actually talk to the client. You're kind of just bluffing. They might call your bluff. They might not. So that's why it is a little bit more of an aggressive approach. But anyway, yeah, I'll keep this video short. I don't want to ramble on any longer. This is 2 ways to get your commission negotiated to 3% if the buyer agent commission is less than that and you're working with a buyer and submitting an offer. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.